Hello, this is Brian Rowe with Mythic MTG Tech, doing a deck review of the new Born of the Gods event deck. For individuals looking for a deck for Standard, this is one to definitely take a look at. The Black Devotion-based decks have been doing rather well in Standard. They make it to the top of the major tournaments and top 8s very consistently. They're up there with the top blue decks in the environment, and this is really kind of an aggro version of those decks. It's got a little bit lower mana curve and a little bit faster creatures and things like Rakdos Cackler and Rakdos Shred-Freak, and it has some of the most popular cards currently in Standard in the deck. I'm giving this deck a solid 4 out of 5, and let's dive into it a little more deeply. We have some very, very playable Standard cards in this deck. Desecration Demon is incredible right now. It's a great blocker, great attacker. Hero's Downfall works really well with the Demon. Remove their creatures, they don't have any creatures to block, and you are able to take over the game and kill somebody very quickly. Packrat in here, who was a limited all-star, people have finally figured out, it's also an amazing card in Standard. When Packrats start to swarm, there's nothing you can do about the little guys. I also really like the Necromancer here. I don't think this is the exact right deck for the Necromancer. He's kind of a build-around card. I'm looking forward to seeing if he's going to be an M15 or not, but he really hasn't taken off yet. I like the card a lot, though. The most valuable cards in this deck are clearly Hero's Downfall, Desecration Demon, and Packrat, all of which are great Standard cards. Hero's Downfall might even be playable in Modern, although 3 casting cost is a little bit rough, especially in an environment where we just brought back Wild Nacatl. The MSRP on this deck is $25, and I would say that after Desecration Demon, Hero's Downfall, and Packrat take a little bit of a hit in value, it's going to clearly be worth that $25 as long as these cards are legal in Standard. The only reason this really didn't get a 5 and only got a 4 out of 5 is the long-term value. Very few of these cards have any long-term value. I was especially disappointed in seeing all basic lands. Could have put in a little bit of red into this deck, splashed, and added a shock land. That would have brought up the long-term value significantly. Once this deck's cards rotate out, it's going to be worth almost nothing. The big things that we're missing from this deck all happen to be rares. I understand they don't put mythics in these decks, but there's no Thoughtseize, there's no Blood Crypt for kind of splashing a little bit more diversity into the deck, and most notably, there's no Mutavault. Mutavault is running $35 to $45 right now. I've seen people picking up foils because the non-foils are sold out at their local game stores, and it's the biggest barrier of entry right now to a very competitive, aggressive deck, because it's the best way to deal with board wipes. It also just combos so well with Packrat. I mean, they put Packrat in this deck. Where's the Mutavault, guys? If you want to make this a Tier 1 super competitive deck, I'd definitely take a look at some of the Devotion-based decks that are out there. Nightveil Spectre is a really nice addition. Lifebane Zombie is a good sideboard card. Add Thoughtseizes, Mutavaults, and Packrats. I know that's a lot of money. You could also go for a little bit more of an aggressive route. Underworld Connections is also very, very good against the control deck, so think about what type of a metagame you've got going on locally and what direction you want to take this deck. Do I recommend buying this deck? Yes, definitely. If you want a strong, aggressive deck for a Friday Night Magic, or a deck that helps you build into a very solid Tier 1 deck in Standard right now, this is a great deck. I only recommend it, though, for Standard players. Several of the past event decks, I've said, hey, pick these up long term. They have things in them like fetches or shocks. They will hold some value. That is not true of this deck. This deck is only for individuals that want to play in Friday Night Magic or at a local PTQ coming up and want to base it around a solid black deck. Thanks, this has been Brian Rowe with Born of the Gods event deck review. Also, just to let you guys know, I'm going to be starting a new sponsorship program coming up here. If you are interested in sponsoring the channel in some ways, please contact me. These videos need your help to continue on long term.